Okay, the next lesson we'll be doing is lesson 88. And these are called quadratic equations. Now, we have done some of this, but we're going to go one step further. So, for example, when we had something like this, x squared minus 18 equals 3x, we need to have this in the formula where it's an x squared and then an x and then a whole number. Okay? A whole number. So we're going to rearrange this to look like that form. And we're going to minus the 3x here, minus 3x, minus 18, and then set it to 0. So this is the form we want these in. And then remember, we factored these. Now these are your quadratic equations. It's an equation because it has an equal sign now. So when we did these, remember doing these? And we would solve for these in this manner. Okay, and we would factor them. But now the only difference is the added things we're going to do, we're going to have equal to 0, and then we're going to solve for them, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So anyway, let's do this part. This part is a review. So we need to know what multiplies to give us negative 18, and then those same two factors that add together to give us negative 3. So what do we have? We have 18 and 1, we have 6 and 3. Oh, 6 and 3, that sounds like that might work. So if I have, and then one of them is going to have to be negative, so we can get a negative 18. And then we're going to have to add them, and one of them is going to have to be negative to get a negative 3. So we're going to make the 6 negative, because it's the bigger one. So I'm going to have an x here, and an x here. And then I'm going to have a minus 6 and a plus 3. And when we do this out, we multiply these, we're going to get the negative 18. When we do the 3x and the negative 6x, we're going to get the negative 3x. And then these two will give you the x squared. So this is this equation factored out. Now, we've learned how to do this part so far, but now you're going to learn how to solve for the equation. So that means this equation is going to equal 0. Okay? So this either has to become 0, right? So then I'll have whatever this is times 0 will give me 0. Or this has to become 0, and then I'll have whatever this is, I'll have 0 times whatever this is, and that will give me 0. So if you just do this, if you just set x plus 3 equal to 0, just this part, and then we know x equals negative 3, when we minus 3 and minus 3, we have x equals negative 3. If we put the negative 3 back in here, this becomes 0. Doesn't matter what this is. 0 times whatever this is gives me 0. So this is one answer, okay? Then you set this part, x minus 6 equals 0. This is one of your answers. This works, but there's another answer. And if you rearrange this to give you x is equal to 6, this is another answer. So you'll either use this answer or this answer. If you put the 6 in here, up here, this will become 0 no matter what this is. 0 times whatever this is becomes 0. So this is the answers they're looking for right here. Now, if you want to check it, you just put it, you can put either this one, do they show, yeah, they show us doing this. Okay, so what they want you to do is, okay, if you put this in here, If you put the 6 in here, square it, 6 here, this is a solution to this quadratic equation. If you put this in here, negative 3 squared minus with a negative 3 in this x, this is also a solution. So both of these are solutions to the quadratic equation. So that's the only thing they've added. I'll do one more with you. Do one more. Okay, what if we have something that looks, and they have more of these in, for examples for you, equals negative x squared. Well, we can't ever have a negative x squared. So we're gonna fix this. So we're gonna just add this to both sides, and then it becomes x squared plus the x minus the 56 equals 0, right? That zeroes out. So now we have this in the correct form. We do this. Don't forget you're equal to 0. So we're going to do the same thing here. What multiplies and gives you negative 56? That will give you a positive 1. If there's nothing here, it's a 1. So what two numbers will multiply to give you a negative 56? Well, I can think of 2, 8, and 7. And one of them's got to be negative for us to have a positive 1 here, so we'll make the 7 negative, because 8 plus a negative 7 gives me a positive 1, and 8 times a negative 7 gives me a negative 56. So then I have this part, this factoring part done, 7 and 8. Now I take each one of them and set them equal to 0. X plus 8 equal to 0 and x minus 7 equal to 0. And I have a negative 8 here. X is equal to negative 8 and x is equal to 7. These are both solutions. They will both work. If you put these back into this equation, they will work. Okay, so the only thing you need to remember is that you can't have a negative. You can't have a negative. You cannot have that, a negative x squared, so you have to either multiply everything by a negative 1 or you have to rearrange it to get it set up right. And that's basically all of lesson 88 right there. And I think you should be able to do that.